Yeah, hey everyone, my name is Vasily Gamov. I'm CEO at PK's affiliate marketing agency. We work with iGaming and fintech brands worldwide. We are based here in Miami. I also run a YouTube podcast, Where is My Money podcast. So if we're gonna be quite specific today, don't blame us, it's just our work. So I think enough with self-promotion. Today we're gonna talk about AI, Martech, and player journey. So the topic everyone knows it about on the conference and do nothing on Monday morning. So we will try to heal that point and provide you with some good advices during the following 40 minutes. Let's start with a little introduction of our fellow panelists. First one is Adrianna. Adrianna is the VP at Globant, who's launched more online casinos brands than most of us have LinkedIn connections. Then Morrison, Director of New Business at Fast Track, the CRM platform that just launched fully agentic flows. And Jeremy Groves, CEO at EvenBet Gaming, running poker ops across all Americas and worldwide. Quite a well-known guy with 20 years experience in iGaming. Guys, could you drop several words about yourself? Adrianna, ladies first, let's start with you. Could you drop several words about you, what are you doing, what is it?
Yes, I'm a VP Senior Client Partner at Globant. I'm also a consultant. Globant is a technology service provider heavily into AI, game creation.
Thank you. Jeremy, it's your turn.
I am Jeremy Groves, Chief Operating Officer at EvenBet Gaming. We are a poker platform provider. Also have a casino platform and casino API as well too. Operating in many different markets around the world and expanding here in the United States this year.
Thank you for sharing. Then it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm Dan Morrison, Director of New Business at Fast Track. I've been in the industry since 2008, and yeah, so I've set up and sold a couple of startups myself. Joined Fast Track around 7 years ago, and it's been one hell of a journey since.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. I'm quite excited about this panel. Yesterday we have a new AI, Claude 5 Mythos. Have you tested already, any of you?
It's already implemented.
Oh, good answer. I like it. So then let's start with you, because Fast Track just announced fully agentic AI workflows, plain language in and executed campaign out. 70% of your user adopted AI within 3 months, as far as you told me. So here is my question. Is the usual campaign concept is dead already? Are we witnessing like the last generation of CRM managers who manually segment players and schedule Friday bonus emails?
I mean, yes and no. It's kind of sad to see it kind of start dying off, but when you've got CRM managers working in a campaign calendar from the 1st to the 30th of each month, and you've got campaigns stopping and starting, and then all of a sudden you need to go in and do a Friday reactivation campaign. So you end up kind of injecting a campaign out of nowhere. You lose the whole concept of the amount of customer touch points that you originally had the strategy built up for. So it kind of, it just doesn't make sense to work in that particular way anymore. So it's all about now automation and kind of giving time back to the CRM agent guy, head of, etc., to be have a lot more time spending on the ideation and what I like to call the light bulb moment, where you can actually really think about how you could move a player from point B to point C in the most efficient way.
Thank you for sharing. Jeremy, you run a platform that serves 200 plus projects across 41 countries. From your product side, are you seeing operators actually kill their campaign calendars, or is it still in place?
I haven't seen them completely kill them yet. They're still around, but it's definitely blowing through cash. So companies are now realizing that they need to have more fluid bonus structures that they have. Even, for example, on a poker platform, you may engage in a tournament that can last a couple of hours. Player will be playing there and engaging. But as soon as they're done with that session, with AI, now we can create new campaigns that can offer bonus codes based upon their specific actions rather than just a simple traditional deposit bonus that you may have and things like that. is a lot more interactive, and it increases the ROI on the marketing side, certainly.
So I would say complete segmentation instead of several campaigns on your calendar.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that works. Adrianna, push back if you want, because from the operator side or the media side, this sounds like vendors saying, buy our AI right now, buy our platform. But what's actually different this time for you?
I think people are getting smarter. You know, they understand that AI is important. They understand that they have to add that tooling to kind of segment and be educated on those players so they can segment the right programs and the right marketing campaigns. So I feel that, you know, they're still gonna do the job. I think they're just gonna be able to be smarter.
Thank you for sharing. And you've launched brands in New Jersey and you've dealt with DGE and multiple state regulators. Here is the tension I want to unpack. AI now creates behavioral fingerprints for every player, deposit patterns, session lengths, and game preferences, and even time of day habits, stuff like that. Where is the line between, wow, this casino knows me, and oh my god, this casino watching me like big brother. So where is this line? And especially when regulators is tightening responsible gaming rules across the US.
Oh, that's a really smart question. I think first and foremost is the opt-in and opt-out, which is regulated. You have to opt into all these marketing campaigns. But I feel that knowledge is power in our space. We need to know how to communicate to players, but we also need to know that they're gaming responsibly. We have the tools now with AI to find those solutions to players and provide them responsible gaming limits. And I don't think it's a negative thing. I think it's a powerful thing if used correctly.
Maybe, guys, do you have anything to add on this topic? What do you think?
Yeah, there's a fine line between kind of profiling that player where you can create that player profile, that the playbook on every single user ID in your database, which I'm sure every operator would love to have that type of data on. Then the other point is, okay, you've got that data. How do you action on that data? So then a third point is, okay, can you make that data actionable in real time? So there's kind of every problem links to another one. And if that chain of command is broken, then you're going to be kind of running today's communication with yesterday's data. And it just, in today's kind of CRM marketing world, it doesn't make sense. And if you're still working in that particular, in that type of ecosystem, you're going to be last in the race.
Okay, but how do you balance, for example, you have AI which pushes more bonuses on the player to increase its LTV, and you have an AI for responsible gaming, let's say, to follow with regulators' rules. So how do you choose which AI is to follow on this topic?
Yeah, so it all depends on whereabouts in the customer journey that you inject this level of AI to profile the player. So when you're kind of logged in and you're playing, so you're a punter on that site, the level of personalization could be extreme because they're already bought into the concept. You're not selling at this particular point. If they've got a transactional history of 9 months, 12 months, more than that, I think you could literally, really keep pushing the boundaries of, tell the customer how much you know them and how much you want to know them more. Whereas if you're someone that's pre-reg, then there's a fine line there between how much do you actually push, how much do you actually tell the player how much you know about them at that particular point, because then it could get to that kind of creep phase of not being able to, I'm not going to these because they know how much I bet and I don't want them to know how, so there needs to be a level of trust built before you, and then gradually scale up that personalization.
Thank you. Jeremy, what was the craziest scene for you connected to this topic?
Well, I would say poker's completely sort of different from a casino or sportsbook when you come to implementation of AI, and in particular the Big Brother aspect of it. Poker players really don't push back against it. They're actually more for it because as a poker platform, how we utilize AI the most, I would say, would be player collusion, chip dumping, and things like that. So when you create an environment where your users and players know that they're safe, they're not playing against the bots, you feel a lot better about the implementation of AI.
So you mentioned chip dumping, so let's talk a little bit about fraud. You've seen 20 years of these different fraud attempts from customers, from competitors. Now AI is simultaneously and the best anti-fraud solution and the best fraud solution on the market. So how do you think about that arms race in 2026?
Well, I would say on the anti-fraud side, the AI implementations, back in the day, a bot would play for 24 hours straight and have very long sessions. They were completely more predictable. So the AI has now made them a little bit more shorter sessions. They can also interact with chats within the lobby and such and the player tables. So it is a constant chase on that side. But then I'd also revert back to we're constantly out there scanning all of these hands history, the data points, the data collections, and ensuring that it's safe to play. You're not playing against bots. You don't have collusion opportunities. So it's definitely two sides of a seesaw, if you will, good and bad.
Thank you for sharing. Dan, do you have anything to add on the topic?
Actually, I've got a question for yourself. So would you say that this is kind of a consistent race? So you kind of fill the gaps of what collusion can be to prove to the player, but then at the same time, the AI or the bots are actually improving themselves. So it's kind of like always kind of jumping over each other and they're continuously getting themselves more autonomous. And
It is like that a little bit. I mean, it is like you're chasing your tail, you know.
that's the thing. Once you put one gap in it opens, then you've got to extend your technology, and then they find a way around that. Exactly.
That's correct. But I will say, from like a perspective of layoffs and lower employee numbers and things like that, I do find that AI is sort of the mechanism to collect the data, understand it, and then bring that attention to an actual human that makes a decision on that. I'll give you an example. In our back office, we have like a green light, yellow light, red light type thing. So when you go into collusion, fraud, and stuff like that, you'll see a flag immediately. A red would automatically block someone. Yellow, okay, it definitely needs to be investigated. Green, absolutely fine. So you'll have those dashboard data visualization tools that will help the manager make a human decision on, do they ban the player, kick the player, reach out to them directly, ask for more KYC information to ensure their legitimacy and things like that.
But are those green lights are like 100% accuracy?
They are pretty accurate, and the models continue to improve.
Nice, thank you, Adrianna. Before the comment from your side about this topic, I would like to mention one case which happened to Polymarket. Probably all of you know it. In April 2025, with a guy with a fan in the French airport, Charles de Gaulle. Yeah, who won about 30K from the bet of $100 just with warming up this temperature. Pretty interesting case, I would say, and this is hilarious, but it is also terrifying for our industry. If someone can game a temperature sensor with a hairdryer, what happens when AI-powered bots are gaming your bonus logic, your CRM logic, and CRM trade triggers and loyalty programs? Adrianna, here's the question for you. From the compliance side, how worried should operators be about those fraud activities?
I mean, I think it's you should worry. I just know that there's a lot of technology out there to be invested, and I think that's important. You know, early adapting, education, knowing where to put that specific tooling within the process of the player journey is very important. Understanding that you need to track that data and you need to always be alert. So the technology is out there. It's ready to be invested in.
Thank you for sharing. Then just a short follow-up question for you. Has Fast Track ever flagged a coordinated bonus abuse pattern that the human team missed entirely? And without naming the operator, if you had that, what did it look like?
Yeah, so, okay, I'll word this carefully so I don't mention anything, but we recently acquired a bonus abuse platform, Greco, in late 2024, after working with the founders of basically putting together their consultancy, looking at bonus abuse and how to put that actually into a SaaS software. So we helped them build it and then finally acquired them 2024. Obviously, to kind of get that product off the ground, we needed to do a lot of case studies, a lot of data needed to be processed in order for us to kind of prove that a product like that worked. So there is one operator, a large operator, that allowed us to case study, and within 24 hours of us integrating this product called Greco, we brought down 2.4 million euros worth of bonus abuse within that 24-hour period. So most of that fraud actually came from streamer traffic. There is a lot of influencer traffic, especially in LATAM as well. And yeah, nearly 65% of the traffic was all bot and fraudsters that were taking welcome offers. And for instance, it's very easy if you know how. So someone to bonus abuse, like if you go on to any operator these days, they've all got welcome offers of 100% up to 100 euros to 1,000. I think in the US it's even 2, 3, 4, 5K sometimes in some states. Very quick example, you could go in, take a welcome offer, which means that you would need to say deposit, I'll keep it easy, $100, and you get $100 in bonus funds. Obviously, a bonus abuser doesn't want to lose their own funds and put their funds at risk. So what they would do is they would park that real cash into the mechanics of a slot game or a live casino game or maybe a sportsbook match that wasn't going to settle until the next day. That then would trick the bonus engine into thinking that the real cash had been dissolved, which would then give them access to the free bonus money. That would then be attached to wagering requirements. So then you would use a different mechanic to again confuse the bonus engine to basically meander around the wagering requirements. You would go back into the mechanic of the game where your real cash was stored, such as maybe an RNG roulette or a blackjack game that has been left unsettled. Click the back button, the chips come off the table into your real money balance, and then what you can then do is play off all the free spins, and you've turned your bonus funds that you're giving for free into real withdrawable cash. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to do it. You just need to know the flow of events. And there's hundreds and hundreds of different websites that can teach you how to do it. So these type of tools like Greco and other bonus abuse tools are significantly important these days in order to keep the P&L and the bottom line of the operator intact.
Thank you for such a smart and detailed answer. I warned you in the very beginning it's going to be boring sometimes. Thank you so much. So then I'll be blunt. Every pitch deck in this industry says, okay, we increase retention, let's say, by 30%. But as a former CMO for years, I ran the budget, and the hardest question was always how to prove that this increasing is because of AI and that AI is not cannibalizing your organic traffic or like organic players' behavior. And a player who would have come back to you anyway now gets a bonus, and you, not you personally, but many tools on the market like yours, they call it retention. That's not AI winning, that's a margin destruction. So what's fast track, honest answer to it?
I mean, it's all down to where the arbitration comes from, like where does the lead actually lie, and how do you actually transform that? So if you can look at the actual attribution of that particular player, and if you can attribute it all the way back to an AI touch point or something like that, then I don't think 100% you could attribute towards that, but it's another point in the marketing flow that you can attribute help, which could be AdWords, it could be SEO, it could be an affiliate B type that's slid in there somewhere. It could be anything, but to kind of clearly look at the ROI from something like that, you would need to look at it, kind of step back and look at it in a more holistic view, rather than going straight into maybe a single data point, which could be, did AI change this? That's not really going to give you the answer that you want. You need to really step back and take a bird's eye view of actually what's gone on in the whole attribution line, and then you can get a good idea of where to actually put your budget in your next selling. Because if you look too closely, you're going to be blindsided with what's gone on either side, which could then mess up your results going forwards. Yeah. And then even down to the you mentioned there's a lot of industry experts saying upward ROI of 30%, 40%, 50% sometimes. I am a true believer of always staying away from numbers because, especially in CRM, I will never nail myself to a cross and promise a certain ROI because yes, we can deliver a world-class CRM tool to any operator, but then once that tool is in place and fully integrated and UAT and tested and ready to go, then it's really down to the skill set of the team and the organization that are using it. Because if you put terrible things and terrible ideas into the front end of a really good CRM, you're not going to get great things out the other side. So by nailing yourself to a cost, and especially as a third-party provider, I've been on hundreds of calls where there's a director, a CEO, a board member, a chairman going, okay, Dan, I'm willing to sign, but you need to promise me I need at least 20, 30% ROI from this. And I have to say I cannot promise that, but we need to, at least what we can do is look to upskill your team to make sure that we can ensure you to get that. So when it comes to promising and arrows going up and to the side, etc., that's really down to the operator. We can simply give them the tools to be able to get that.
Thank you for such a short and detailed, honest answer. Appreciate it. Adrianna, could you make a comment on this from the operator side? You managed, I guess, budgets for some of the biggest brands on the market.
Yeah.
And what is the minimum for an operator which he should expect to see before they say, yes, this AI tool is working, this AI CRM is working? How to explain it from the operator side?
I don't like to put money on it the same way as you said. I'm not going to quantify what AI is doing. I look at it as opportunities. Opportunities to know my customer, opportunities to protect the business, opportunities to decrease the cost in QA. QA is a major item on the balance sheet. Utilizing AI, you can essentially find out the GLI 11 through AI tools and agents to actually do those tests. So I think it's a matter of survival, not investment.
And you think how much time will it take to figure out if this new feature, new tool is working out for an operator? Like 1 month is enough, 1 week is enough, or maybe you can count in budget, like 1 million investment is enough to run campaigns. What is your vision about it?
I think it depends on what we're talking about. So is that with Globant, we do QA on games. So
Yeah.
QA process is an hourly rate. So if an AI agent that's doing GLI on a game, that's instant. And you're getting all the dirt through your AI agents, and then it's going to internal. So it's an all internal process. So that's instant. If we're talking about player engagement, again, that information is instant, but it takes a person to review that data and actually do an action. So it really depends on what you're talking about.
Thank you, sure. Jeremy, do you have something to put on the top?
Yes, I think one of the things you were talking about when you were asking for timelines earlier, I think what we're finding is that AI now, we can find out within about 30 days what the LTV of a particular player is worth. Sounds really cool.
That is no.
And so when you're able to do that, and then we've also, through the marketing portion of the AI, realized the cost per acquisition of bringing in the player is now dropped down maybe 18 to 20%. So when you're saving somebody on the acquisition side, and then when you acquire them, you know what they're worth. I think it creates a lot of value to the operators to have that tangible numbers.
You would say like 30 days on average, that's enough to
For LTV, yes.
What we've actually been doing a bit of work on that ourselves. It started off where we were looking for the potential or expected LTV from players versus different traffic sources, and then from that you can then work out what we call the theoretical value of each player. And when you've worked that out, and then you can embed that into the cost of acquisition of what it actually takes to kind of get them to the LTV point, you can actually reverse engineer that into the first customer touch point being based on the theoretical value of that particular traffic source. And one use case could be if you've got, and you could add nuances to this, but in its super high level, you've got CPA deals coming in, you've got rev share deals and organic deals. That's 3 different flows, and of course you can have different values in between. But then what you could do from the very first second, as soon as that reg button's hit, if that play is attached to a CPA, then straight away, as soon as the FDD occurs, the operator's down $200, $300, $400. and you can then treat that player differently based, it could be a little bit more aggressively, because you know that if you don't do anything as aggressive as someone coming in organically, the operator is going to be $400 down before they even start, and then reactivation then becomes even more expensive. Whereas then if someone comes in organically and someone even on a rev share deal, what that could then essentially mean is that it's a risk-off approach for the operator, which could then either give them more margin to then try and squeeze the players' value a bit more, or lay off the marketing because it's a risk-free approach. So it opens up the operator with the more data that you have in a kind of a real-time segment. So yeah, from the first second, you could be saving the operators $500 on the bottom line, just the way that you actually treat them.
Yeah, I have something to put on top here also. When you analyze those features or AI tools from the operator side, you should know who you compare, players who you compare, like the period before this tool is activated and after. Because if you compare, let's say, VIP players to ordinary players, the behavior differs, everything differs, and you can come up with your own conclusions about your AI, because I had such an example. I've been running the new also tool of the product.
Yep.
Yeah, and after 30 days, I had one statistic. I had 30 days more, and the conclusions were like opposite. And I wonder what is going on. And I go deeper into players' behavior, in their patterns, who they are, how they deposit, how active are they, and I found the answer there. I just compared different player groups. This was the wrong A/B testing. This one you should keep in mind for sure.
There's a point of when you're looking at AI and training AI models and trying to get the most accurate customer touch point, or what kind of channel, that sort of thing. What we actually do as a platform is we know that if a startup or an operator that has below 5,000 active monthly players, they don't really have the amount of data to support an accurate AI decision. So we do have two options. Either we can allow a startup to use and harness the power of AI by pooling out big anonymous pools of data based on similar operators in similar markets and similar jurisdictions, where we can actually give that smaller operator access to bigger data that's of course anonymized. And then we've done a lot of testing on this, and I think the sweet spot is 65,000 sessions per operator, where they can then switch on to their own AI, where they're basically looking at data from their home player base rather than kind of an external pool, and that works really well. But of course, that 65,000 sessions for a startup can take quite some time, whereas if we launch a tier one, it's 2 or 3 days.
Thank you. Let's talk about what is going on the next following 12 months, what actually ships. Jeremy, poker is interesting because it's PvP, not PvE, and the player is the content. So how does AI change the player journey when the product is other human?
Interesting question, actually. And the way that we are doing that is we're using AI to push out specific content in the poker lobby that is applicable for that player profile. And then also the ability to customize and change widgets on that lobby so that it's interactive for that player. They come in, poker players are very smart, very mathematical, but they're also want to move along very quickly. So when you have a lobby that automatically shows them or displays the tables based upon the blind levels or size of wagers that they make, you're certainly able to engage them a lot more.
Interesting. Adrianna, from the Globant side, you are building solutions for operators. So what is the one integration or capability that your clients are asking for right now and that didn't exist a year ago?
From an operator's perspective, they've been questioning the whole QA process a lot because they're wanting to bring their own games in, and the QA process and the certification can be quite costly. So we've been building those QA agents in order to, prior to certification, so that way they can guarantee their own first pass instead of going to different labs and doing that. That is one. And then the engagement, the re-engagement, the gamification on top of the front end, having a real customized experience at the front, because usually they have multiple different B2B suppliers, platforms, RGSs, and so forth. So they utilize our services to create an engagement that's customizable from the front and wherever else.
Yeah, quite a cool one. Then you have a comment on that, I guess. So from the fast track, what is the next 6 months feature that operators literally cannot do today, and be more specific if you can?
Okay, so with, I would say, the generic CRM platform, not mentioning any names, but generally it's kind of like built for one purpose, where you build one campaign to target one group of players at a time. And that's like, it's in-house tools, it's relatively entry-level CRMs where you can go in and you build one campaign for one group of players. And then of course, if you want to personalize, which you do if you're segmenting 10,000 players, you need maybe another version. And then because, 10,000 players, you're going to be messaging a lot of people with the same type of message. So then for a very basic Friday reactivation campaign, for example, the average operator ends up with 6 or 7 different variants of this Friday reactivation campaign. And it's kind of, then you've got to have 5 or 6 different campaigns, Q&A'd, built, ideated, and then executed, and then reported on completely separately. Now, if you can do that in a more...
That's more, I guess. Look for it.
Automated in a certain way, then it just makes sense. So, is my mic still on?
Yeah. We hear you as well. Thank you.
Good. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. So let's go to the final section. Short questions, short answers. If you want to provide like long answer, I don't mind. I know. Let's start with the biggest mistake you've seen an operator make this year in one sentence. Adrianna, it's your turn.
I think the lack of education on AI, they're kind of putting it, I guess, integrating it badly. So I feel that having a little bit of education and training on AI so they know how to utilize it and the tooling and really be able to utilize it to the fullest capacity.
Fair enough. Jeremy, what's your opinion?
Using AI chatbots to assist with deposit and withdrawals on VIP players.
Oof.
We should not.
Somebody doing those?
People do it sometimes.
Oh my God. Then what's your opinion?
Using gamification to a different data source or layer that isn't connected to the actual game, the player profile. So you've got random wheels that may have no connection to the actual gameplay, and that's untwinned with not understanding your player when they're on site. So for example, you're clearly a VIP, you do between $2 and $5 or even $10 spins consistently, and then you get 10 free spins on Starburst at 10 cents. So there's a huge disconnection showing that you literally do not know your player.
Thank you for sharing. Adrianna, what will kill an operator faster in 2027? Not adopting AI or adopting it badly?
Adopting it badly.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Implementing bad AI improperly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And wrong data set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Your turn. You agree?
Yeah, I completely agree. If it's done badly, I would rather not do it at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. And one final, what is your favorite AI for you, for example? Is it Fast Track or anything else?
I'll take my bias hat off, but I do prefer Claude over, say, ChatGPT, because it makes more sense when it comes to actually realizing a lot of data points. Yes, if you want to, Photoshop some pictures and things like that, stick with your ChatGPT, but for the actual real use cases and to get real data out of it, actionable data, Claude is the way to go, especially with the new update.
Yeah, totally agree. Guys, what's your opinion?
I'll split this question into two. One on a personal level and one on a professional level.
Yeah, let's do this.
On the professional level, definitely Claude. As we were talking last night, just learning it, and I'm not a programmer by background, but I thought it was so interesting. You keep hearing all the Kalshi and Polymarket and stuff. So I decided to take one weekend to create a Claude bot to auto trade on certain. Funny you mentioned the temperatures. the temperature markets and things like that. So that was on the professional side. On the personal side, I enjoy Grok. I like the just talking to Grok and having a conversation. Unfortunately, Elon needs to expand his credits so it doesn't die out on me in 3 minutes and time limit me. So
Thank you for sharing, Adrianna. What works for you?
Well,
Oh, definitely. On both levels, like professional, personal.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing. We still have several minutes for Q&A if anybody has questions to our speakers. I see many hands, but let's leave it for after the panel. We can continue discussing this topic after the panel outside. Don't hesitate to come up to our speakers and discuss everything. Thanks for being here. For those who are watching us on YouTube and online, subscribe to SBC YouTube channel and to PK's YouTube channel. You will see this content there. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the show. Have a good one.
thank you.